Anyone got a pencil? Hello, my name's Mark and I'm the host of the Mixtape podcast, where every week on the show I will ask my guests to make up an imaginary mixtape. They'll give it a title and pick 6 tracks. Track 1, what's going to be your intro track, your attention grabber, your track 1 side one that's going to draw me in and make me want to listen to the rest of your tape. Track 2, pick a song that you sing loud and proud when you're on your own in the car or the shower. Track 3, pick your favourite cover version. Track 4, pick a song you wish you could have played to your 18-year-old self. Track 5, pick a song that you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know that you are romantically interested. And track 6, I'm going to ask them to pick something a little bit obscure, maybe a B-side or an album track. Don't forget to smash that follow or plus sign at the top of the page and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. And you can follow me on Instagram at the Mixtape Perth. Hope you enjoy this week's chat.
How's things? Are you well?
Good, mate. Yeah, well, mate. Yeah, how about yourself?
All good, all good. Back in Dublin for a couple of days, sort of in between. We're in the middle of a sort of tour. We were in Europe and we're in the UK, and we've a couple of shows back in Ireland this weekend, and then we're heading off to Oz next month, so I'm buzzing.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you over here, mate. I'll just rattle off the tour dates real quick. So 10th of November, it's the Triffid in Brisbane. 11th of November, the Olympia Theatre in Sydney. 17th, the one we're all waiting for, Badlands in Perth. And the 18th for Northcote in Melbourne. Oztix.com.au for tickets for those, if there is any left. Has it been a while since you've been in Oz, Danny? How long since you were down under, mate?
We were there actually last November, so yeah, a year. But I mean, yeah, it was probably our best ever tour we had there. We played in the Metro in Sydney, which is a beautiful venue. We played in Badlands in Perth, which was fun, and we've just been told that we're going back to that venue again. We've just been told it's sold out, so it's a cool little venue. So we're buzzing for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware, but probably wouldn't be, but Badlands is closing in December. So I imagine you'll probably be one of the last sort of big names to play there. I think they've got a bit of an issue post-COVID, the sort of public liability insurance. I think they said 10 times it's gone up, like tenfold since COVID. And because they're only open like, Friday, Saturday for gigs, like that's the evenings, like that's all they do. So they don't make enough money in the week. Do you know what I mean? Like other venues in Perth, like similar sort of capacity, they're open every day. They serve food and, all the rest of it, and they can make enough to cover. But yeah, Badlands is closing in December. So the gig going community in Perth is looking to give Badlands a good old send off. So hopefully you'll be part of that, mate, and it'll be a cracking night.
Yeah. Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. It's a cool little venue.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a good one, and they do get some good names in there for sure. So your tour, Danny, is best of the early years, and normally when sort of bands come to Perth and touring, and I ask them like sort of what can we expect in terms of like set, but obviously, the clue's in the title there, best of the early years. But what was it about the sort of your early material that made you sort of want to focus on? Have you sort of been neglecting it over the years a bit, or why did you choose that, mate?
Well, I think initially it came about a conversation where our first 3 records weren't available on vinyl, and a lot of our fans had been asking for vinyl versions of, and we were like, well, we put the first 3 albums on vinyl, and then we were like, we should do a nice little collection, because there's a lot of songs in those early albums that we don't really play anymore. So we were like, why don't we pick our favorite ones off each album and make this sort of little special collector's item for. And that was initially it. It was more an idea for our sort of, to our converted fans already, I suppose. And then it became this release, and we decided to tie it in with this tour. But yeah, to be honest with you, we'll be playing a lot of songs from the early albums, a bit of everything though. We released an album last year as well, just before the last time we toured there. Time stopped, and we're still sort of touring that one as well. So at this stage now, we're lucky enough to have had a few albums. So it's fun trying to put the set list together. But yeah, we're delighted to get this album out, and to have something physically, as I say, to
Mhm.
sell, to represent our early stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's an exciting time. We're also writing away for our next album as well. So it's sort of a mixture of everything at the moment, you know.
It's a busy time. It's a busy time. So where can people get hold of that, Danny? Is that out yet, that collection? Or where's the best place to find that? Especially the vinyl. I'd be keen on that. I love a bit,
Yeah,
as you can see.
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll be. It looks great. I love the background. But yeah, we're gonna bring some stock over for a start. We'll be
Mhm.
selling the vinyl at the shows. But the Coronas.net is the best place really
Mhm.
for everything. I always direct people there. It's got links to our merch and where's the best place to buy online if you want to buy physical copies of the CDs or vinyls, and it has links to all our socials and tickets to the shows as well. So it's sort of
Cool.
it's the handiest place, and it's a one-stop shop really for everything Coronas related. So that's the Coronas.net, and as I say, we have all the ticket links and everything up there as well.
Cool, cool. So if you're listening to this on the radio, then obviously coronas.net is your one-stop shop. If you're listening to the podcast, then I will put that link in the description for this podcast. So coronas.net will be in the description alongside Danny's mixtape tracks. I also saw, Danny, that you got your kind of, is it, I don't know how long it's been running now, but your annual sort of homecoming Dublin Olympia gigs coming up in
Mm.
December. How long's that been going, mate? And what sort of has that been sort of an annual thing for a while, or how's that been going, mate?
Yeah, yeah, it's a crazy thing where it's become like people's tradition. It's sort of it's yeah, they're those gigs are like owned by the Dublin people as opposed to us. It's funny now. We even if we're out of album cycle, we can put a couple of nights on sale in the Olympia as long as it's at Christmas time, and people just keep coming. It's part of their schedule, it's part of their tradition, and we've been doing it for probably 12 years, I'd say, maybe a
Mhm.
little longer. We
Yeah,
started off, we just did one night there at Christmas, and we had an amazing show, and then we built it up over the years, and now we're doing 5 nights in the Olympia, and then another night in Vicar Street, which is a beautiful venue around the corner as well, of similar size and
yeah,
similar history, I suppose. So we're blessed. We're blessed that we get to do this, and as I say, those gigs have taken on a life of their own. We've been lucky enough to go there every year since, and you know, if we put those shows on in any other time of the year, I don't think they'd sell out as quick. But there's something about the Christmas week, and as I say, it's become part of people's schedule and
mhm,
tradition, and you know, they meet all friends meet up and go, oh, we're going to
mhm,
Coronas and do our dinner, Christmas
yeah.
dinner beforehand or whatever,
Oh, cool.
and the atmosphere there is just amazing. It's a beautiful old theater. You know, I've heard a lot about the Enmore in Sydney, and I imagine it's something similar. It's just that old historic old theater. So we're lucky to have that. And as I say, to get to go to Australia and tour for a couple of weeks in November and enjoy some nice weather. And then to come home and it be Christmas at home and proper Christmas vibes, cold and wet and yeah, and have the Christmas lights everywhere, and we'll be straight into the Christmas shows. So it's a good time to go away. I'm excited for the next couple of months, to be honest.
Sure, sure. You mentioned the Vicar Street there, and I'm well across all of the Dublin venues because my girlfriend's from. So
Ah,
she
nice.
she yeah she's like, yeah, she was the one who tipped me off. She was like, oh, Coronas are coming to Perth. She'd try and get them on the radio show, and I was like, all right, okay, I will. And that's how come we're talking now. But yeah, like Rosine Dub and Vicar Street and
Yeah.
Grafton Street, I've been to myself, and yeah, all those amazing Olympia in Dublin, those amazing venues. Yeah, I think, and you have a Christmas tradition as well. Another Dublin Christmas tradition is the busk as
Mm.
well that the people like to get involved with. And I was lucky enough to get that on vinyl last Christmas
Nice.
from my girlfriend. Yeah, so I was buzzing for that. Yeah, that was great. There's some great tunes on that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Dublin, I think, is for the size of the city and the population, like it's a hotbed of like awesome venues and music and yeah, it's always sort of I've always marveled at the Irish kind of. I think like there's a big tradition in Ireland of like you go to the pub and there's always a guy with a fiddle or there's a forgotten the proper there's a proper word for it when everyone gets together and just has a
Just a
good
sing
old
song, a
sing.
session. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's so deeply ingrained in the Irish sort of tradition. I think that's the reason why Ireland has produced like I think so many amazing sort of artists over the years. Just going back to your tour in Australia, Danny, I noticed you got a few days off there. Nice planning. You got like 4 or 5, 6 days off maybe in between dates there. Have you got any plans? You sightseeing or you just hanging out or what are you going to be doing in those few days in between, mate?
Yeah. Well, we this time usually when we go to Oz, we only have like a few days. Like the last time we went, we were in and out on a long weekend, which is really tough because a lot of traveling and we were going back and forth. But this time we have a few days off, and we do have some friends in Sydney, and yeah, we're looking forward to it. Our tour manager just sent me on our hotel details. We're staying in Coogee Beach, and we're just going to chill for a couple of days in Sydney and enjoy it. But like, you're dead right about Dublin, and just going back to that, I mean, Greystones is a beautiful place, by the way. That's a gorgeous part of Wicklow, and but we are blessed to have those venues and to have that scene here, and you see it for such a small country, as you say, the amount of talent that has been produced, and it's not just music as well, it's movies and actors, and there's something about I think Ireland in general to that it just has that sort of creative tradition, I suppose. And as you say, that even for us growing up, the bar was always so high because you go down to a local pub and there's just someone singing that's brilliant, like, you know. So
absolutely.
I think that's the sort of reasons that you see the likes of Hosier, Dermot Kennedy, and the amount of acts that are coming through, you know. So it's a beautiful place for sure, you know.
Yeah, you mentioned Hosier there. He's on a world tour, I think, at the moment for his new album, which is amazing. And I'm hanging out for some Australia dates. Like he's in America, I think, at the moment, and he's already done Europe. I think he toured. There's an Australian band I'm not sure if you're familiar with called the Teskey Brothers, and they toured with Hosier. They're amazing. He's like Josh Teskey is number one on my hit list of guests to get on the podcast and the radio show. Yeah, I'm hanging out for some Hosier Australia dates for sure. He's the sort of person where I think if he only announced East Coast dates, I would fly from Perth.
Fly over there
to see him, for sure. Yeah, 100%,
he's
100%.
He's amazing and so good live as well. I heard his new show is great. I haven't seen it since the new album came out, but we've been lucky enough to see him a few times over the years, and he's an absolute sweetheart as well. He's so sound, such a nice guy, and so I'm sure he'd come on the show as well. But yeah, I've heard of the Teskey Bros as well, so I'm sure I must check them out. I've sort of one of those bands that I've heard are great, but I haven't got around to actually
they're amazing.
They're amazing stuff. Yeah,
Josh Teskey, if you close your eyes, it's like if you imagine if Sam Cooke and Otis Redding had a baby and he was a surfer dude from Melbourne, that's what he sounds like. He's incredible. Yeah, you'd love the Teskey Brothers. Just quickly on the subject of the Teskey Brothers, Danny, kind of a bit loosely, a bit of a tangent, but we do have a mutual acquaintance. I'm not sure if you remember going on Off the Beaten Track podcast. Do you remember doing that?
Yes, with Stu. Yeah, do you know Stu?
So
what a legend.
Me and Stu were at primary school together.
No way.
We've known each other since we were like 8 or 9 years old. And yeah, when I started doing the radio show, a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should do a podcast." And I was like, "Oh, everyone does podcasts, and I don't really want to do a podcast." And then I chatted to Stu about it, and I said, "What do you reckon?" And the words of wisdom that he gave me will stay with me forever. If a muppet like me can crack it, you'll have no problems, mate. So that was like the inspirational words that he gave me. Yeah. So yeah, shout out Stu for sort of slightly letting me knock off he's off the beaten track format.
Not at all. Yeah. No, it's a great format. It's a great show. He's a lovely guy, and he's knowledgeable like yourself of music. He's very knowledgeable.
Honestly, there's not many people who can out nerd me when it comes to music, but Stu is 100% that guy. Like, I will bow to his superior knowledge like every single time. He's been a guest on my podcast as well. He very kindly came on and shared a few good yarns and stuff like that. Okay, speaking of the podcast and the format, Danny, let's drop into the mixtape questions real quick. Okay, good. So I've got your choices. Thanks very much for sending them through in advance. It always helps. It helps me. Okay, so when I'm making up a mixtape, Danny, or a playlist or anything like that, then always going with a track one that's like a sort of attention grabber that's going to make me, like, you know, draw me in and make me want to listen. So what did you pick for your track one attention grabber, mate?
Well, I went for the National. The National are like my favorite band. I'm obsessed with them.
Same.
Yeah. Oh, really? No way.
Yeah, that's cool. Massive. Yeah.
So I remember a friend of mine. I got sort of into them around High Violet, which Fake Empire is on, and or is it on the Boxer? I get mixed up between
Boxer. It's on. Yeah.
And those two albums. When I moved to London initially, we signed a record deal and moved to London probably around 2014 and. And I remember just going through the tube and just listening to those two albums in particular, non-stop every time I got on the tube. And then Trouble Will Find Me came out, and it's probably, that one is probably my favorite National album. And I like the newer ones too, but those three in particular were game changers for me. And at the time, I think as a songwriter, when I was looking for the next thing, I always find if you get really enthusiastic about new music or music in general, if you find something that you haven't found before, it sort of inspires you as a writer. And I definitely, and I think in our more recent Corona stuff, you can definitely see the national influences and just the way he uses lyrics and snapshots of conversations and those sort of specific relationship things that are almost so specific that other people can relate to them. And I think he has a way with words that is really amazing. And of course the music is stunning and just beautiful as well. So I went for Fake Empire as I could have picked any national song. I could have picked I love Don't Swallow the Cap is a great song of Trouble Will Find Me. I could have picked Terrible Love. I could have picked Blood Buzz Ohio, but I thought Fake Empire has
Blood Buzz Ohio, mate. That is an absolute tune. That's my favorite tune. Yeah, I love that one.
It's unreal.
That's the sort of song I think if I got pulled over speeding, I'd play that to the copper and say, I've been listening to this, mate. Like, what can I do? Like, this is, you can't do anything else but move fast to that. And I think they're coming to Perth in February or March. They're playing Kings Park outdoor gig. I do get, obviously, I go to a lot of gigs, you know, for work and, you know, for pleasure as well. But I don't, for some reason, I don't get as excited as I used to. Do you know what I mean? I just, you know. Yeah. But when they announced, I was like, yes, I can't wait. I cannot wait because I've never seen them. So, yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for that. And I think, well, you know, at the end of the year when you get your Spotify stats.
Yeah, unwrapped thing.
Yeah. So I Need My Girl has been top of my Spotify for like 2 or 3 years running. Yeah. I don't know why. For some reason, you know what it's like when you listen to a song and it's your favorite song, you just keep playing it all the time, and then after a while you go, "Oh, I'll leave that for now," right? Because I'm getting a bit, you know. Never happens. That never happens with that song. I just cannot get enough of it. I absolutely love it.
It's so beautiful. It's the guitar and everything on that song. It's just so beautiful. Like and the lyrics, of course, as well. It's just and they have a simplicity to them as well, even though it's quite intricate and it's sort of dark and interesting. But a lot of their moments of magic have this sort of little simplicity where it's just like, that's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's a great tune. And I love, there's loads of YouTube versions as well where he's done it with different female vocalists, like as a duet. Lauren Maybury from the Churches, I think he's done it. Lisa Hannigan, that's an amazing version. Like, he's a great collaborator. I think I don't know what it is, but I think it's just his voice just lends itself to female duet kind of setups. Like the couple off the new album with Taylor Swift are amazing.
Beautiful,
incredible.
And he has that low voice, that sort of tenor or whatever it's called, baritone, is it? And so it suits with a girl singing above, even if it's in unison, you know. Like that's something that the Coronas even copied on our last record. We wrote a song with a singer from the UK called Gabrielle Aplin, who's very successful in her own right. And I actually wrote the song with her, and initially it was just meant to be for us, and I was like, no, Gab, let's lower the key. I'll sing it low like your man from the National, and you can sing it on top, and we'll sing the whole song in unison. And it ended up being a big song for us. But again, that was influenced by their sound. And now Aaron Jesner, you know, the guitarist, he's gone on to produce all sorts of huge stuff, as you say, Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran and everything. So they're really getting the pop angle going as well. But
for sure. Yeah, he's got a good his solo album's really good as well. Matt Berninger's got a solo album out as well, and that's well worth a listen as well. Okay, that was about 10 minutes of frothing over the National. So.
I could sit here all day talk about them.
I know.
There's a great documentary that Matt's brother did. It's called Mistaken for Strangers, and it's like the brother goes on tour with them as a roadie, and it's really funny and it has a bit of heart as well. I definitely worth checking out. Go on YouTube. Nice, probably
what's that called? Let me write that down. It's
Mistaken for Strangers, which is one of their songs, but it was filmed around the time they were writing Trouble Will Find Me. So like they're backstage writing Demons and writing songs and stuff. But it's really interesting.
Yeah.
The brother is sort of like the less successful of the two siblings, and he's just a roadie, but he's trying to make this movie, and it's really interesting, the dynamic. It's cool, and it's sort of funny, like, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I'll check that out, and I'll put a link in the description of the podcast as well if anyone else wants to check that out. Okay, track 2, Danny. We'll try and get through this as quickly as possible because
sure.
My missus is coming to pick me up shortly because Happy Mondays are playing in Perth tonight. So,
nice, cool.
Literally, as soon as I finish talking to you, I'm hanging up, but I'm straight down the freeway to Fremantle.
Okay, cool.
I asked you to pick a song that you sing loud and proud when you're on your own in the car or the shower, mate. What'd you go with?
I went, well, speaking of amazing Irish talent, I decided to pick Tin Lizzy, a great Dublin band from back in the day, and with Phil Lynott as their singer songwriter. Sarah is one of my favorite songs. I learned it in sort of over the last year or so. It's sometimes, again, I try and just pick songs. Over the pandemic, I did it a lot, where I started just learning other people's songs and playing acoustic versions of them, and then I ended up putting a lot of them up on the Corona's Instagram and stuff. But this is one that I did, and I always loved the song, but actually just learning the chords and learning how it moves and stuff, it was a lot of fun. But it's one of my all-time favorite songs. Tin Lizzy are one of my all-time favorite bands, and I definitely put this up there as one of my all-time favorite songs. So it's just sort of got a happy vibe to it, you know, and it's just an honest love song, and it sounds great in the radio still, and it's definitely one that I would sing along to myself if I was in a good mood, whistling and skipping down the street. That's definitely one that I would sing. Yeah,
it's a big departure. I think it doesn't sound like your typical Thin Lizzy sort of song, is it? It's sort of a quite a light-hearted sort of, you know, like you say, like poppy ballad. I remember my sister's name's Sarah, and I played it for her when she was a teenager, I think, and she absolutely loved it. Yeah, great tune. Yeah, absolutely love that one. Been to is it Hoof? Is that where he's buried? Is that what
I'm not sure exactly where. I'm not sure. Hoth, is it?
Hoth. That's it. Hoth. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Hoth. Yeah, I remember a good friend of mine who lives in Kilkenny. I went to visit once, and we got the train out there, and I remember that I had Guinness ice cream, and we had a walk out on the on the pier or whatever. Yeah, great day that. It was a great day out. Shout out Monica if you're listening. Okay. Track 3, Danny asked you to pick a cover version for your mixtape. What did you pick, mate?
Yeah, well, when you sent me when I saw the questions last week, I had just heard this song on the radio, James Taylor, You've Got a Friend, and I remembered that it's actually a cover. It's not a song that he initially wrote, and it's such a beautiful.
Is it Carole
version.
King? I think it's Carole King.
It's Carole King.
Yeah, that's right.
And her version is great too. I remember going and checking it out, but I didn't realize, but she had actually written the song. But there's just a magic to James Taylor's voice that just suits the song so much, and it's just like when you're down and troubled, and the lyrics are just timeless, like, you know. But coming from his voice, his sort of warm, beautiful voice, I was just like, that's such a beautiful rendition of a song that brings the original to another level, I think. And of course, it's one of his quintessential hits, I suppose, but a bigger song for him than it was for Carole King, of course. So that was one that sprung to mind that I just thought was a little bit different as a cover version, you know.
I think they were together as a couple for a while. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, they were together for a while, and I think there was they collaborated like a fair bit. So but for me, it's always a great sign of a good cover version when you don't know it's a cover version. Do you know what I mean? Like you just oh wow, I didn't know. Like like you say, it suits him perfectly. His voice, and James Taylor's high on my list of people to see live. I've never seen James Taylor live, but it's getting a bit late now. But hopefully maybe one day.
He's still touring.
I know.
It might not be too late. He is still touring, and apparently my mother and father went to see him actually last year, and they said it was amazing. You know, so I'm yet to see him too. But it's a great, like, putting on James Taylor is really a big thing in our family around Christmas time, Christmas dinner or whatever. It's just a nice background. Everyone likes it. And it's like not intrusive, you know, not too loud, and just makes everyone feel it's like a warm hug.
Yeah, I've got the greatest hits on vinyl with the white sleeve. I've got that, so I'll that's a good Sunday afternoon one. I think if I'm just pottering around or whatever, it's a great one. It's a great one. Okay, track 4, Danny. I asked you to pick a song you wish you could have played to your 18-year-old self. What did you pick, mate?
Well, to be honest with you, I was just looking for any excuse to plug the Corona's music. So this one seemed like the best opportunity, because I actually think it would be interesting for me to see where my songwriting has
Yeah.
gone for now that I'm
Yeah.
in, in my mid-30s, and I'm still doing it. And I remember writing songs when I was 18, and I like, my songwriting has definitely changed over the years, and I've sort of I think I think as you get older, you get a little bit more self-critical. And when I was 18,
Mm.
I used to I'd write a song in an hour, and I'd just go, "Well, that's it, next one,"
Mm.
And
Yeah.
now I tend to go back and overthink. So can I say that? And then, is that line okay? And can I make
Mm.
that better? And this, and you're sort of you spend a little bit more time that self-critical voice. But I think it would be definitely interesting for me to see where I ended up, I suppose,
Mm.
my 18-year-old self. So I think that would be an interesting thing. I'd probably be like, that's crap. I don't know if I'd like it, even where I ended up as a songwriter, but it's that I thought, as I say, this was the best opportunity for me to plug one of our own songs, because I think If You Let Me is the song on our most recent album,
Mm.
Time Stopped, and it's probably a good representation of where the band are now. I think it's yeah, I like the song. I think we all do. It goes down well live, and
Mm.
I think it's yeah, as I say, I think it's definitely sort of where we're at the moment.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. I think that. I love that. This is my favorite question to ask, this one, because everybody comes at it like from a different angle. Do you know what I mean? Like you, yeah, want to show like your 18-year-old self what you've achieved, you know what I mean, and what where you're at in in that time. Other artists have come at it like Steve Kilbey is an Australian sort of I'd say icon of Australian music from a band called The Church, and a lot of he came up in the 70s, and it was a lot of Bowie and Bolan and Dylan and stuff like that. But for that track, he chose Sigur Rós, and I was blown away. He wanted to show his 18-year-old self that music wasn't just 4/4
Yeah,
like where music would be. Do you know what I mean? And what the possibilities were with music. Like, it's a great. I love asking that question, because everybody comes at it from a different angle, and you're not alone there picking one of your own songs, because I think you're
okay,
you're maybe the second or third person who's picked. I think
okay.
Clint Bone from Inspiral Carpets picked one of his own as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're certainly in good company there, mate.
Well, that's
Okay.
good. I'm not that egotistical as the lead singer,
No,
but
mate. No, 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 no.
it's interesting you say that, because I often I would be so interested. I think my 18-year-old self, just going briefly back to say the National, I don't know if my 18-year-old self would get them, or definitely not like them as much as I do
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think you have to bear that in mind, as well as where you were. And if I decided when I was 18, if someone played me the National, I decided, I'm not sure about that, then I probably wouldn't like them now either, because you've committed it to it or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
interesting to think back on those sort of things. But yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I just came
It's
to
all
me
right, mate.
there.
No,
But
it's fine. No, it's funny how you sort of change your outlook as well. I think for me, I'm not sure if you're aware, but he's a mate of Stu's, Scroobius Pip. He's a
yeah, of
sort of
course.
spoken word sort of
Yeah, I know
artist, and
Scroobius. He's an
uh,
amazing artist. He's done a lot in Ireland
incredible.
over the
Yeah,
years as well. Yeah,
yeah. And I listened to his Distraction Pieces was an album that I liked when it came out.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, Essex boy, fellow Essex boy, and I was sort of into his music, a bit. But then, sort of like 20, whatever, 20, almost 20 years later, no, 10, yeah, 10, sorry, 2010 that came out. 10
yeah,
years later, I've moved to Australia, I've had kids, I've got divorced, I've been through all that, all that emotion that sort of goes along with being divorced and breaking up a family and blah, blah, blah. And I listened to Broken Promise off of Distraction Pieces, and I was just in bits. I was in tears listening
yeah.
to it. It's a song I've known for like 10 years, but because
Exactly. Yeah,
I changed so much as a person, I've been through so much and had so many different life experiences, it came at me in such a different way. Like it was
yeah.
mad.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's the
music's
beauty of music, isn't
ah,
it? It's
it's
amazing.
exactly
Yeah,
what I was going to say. That's the beauty of music.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Right. Track 5, Danny. And if you were trying to woo someone and by giving them your mixtape and letting them know you're keen, what song would you put on your mixtape, mate?
Yeah, I wanted to pick a Beatles song. I'm so obsessed with the Beatles as well, and
Mm,
everything always goes back there. And so I picked a George Harrison song, Something in the Way She Moves, which is
mm,
just one of the most perfect love songs I think ever written. And it's just such a nice lyric throughout, and beautiful chords, and at a time when McCartney especially, but also John, were writing amazing song after song after song, and coming up with Abbey Road, which is one of their strongest albums. that was the big single from
Mm.
the album, which shows how good a song it was, because George usually got, you know, a track or two on each album that was maybe not the big song or whatever,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that was the main single from
Mm.
Abbey Road, and it's the one they led with, and it's just because it's just a timeless, beautiful song. I'd say it's probably George's best song ever, and it's yeah, I think it's one that's just, again, I like love songs that aren't afraid to admit they're love songs, you know,
Mm.
just throw it out there, and if it works, it works without being cheesy. It's just sort of honest, and it has that honesty and that sort of feeling, and you know, something in the way she moves attracts me like no other
Mm.
lover. Straight away, you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because again,
Mm.
it's specific to someone, but yet everyone can relate to it. And I think the best lyrics have that, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Danny, but I'm a massive Eric Clapton nerd,
Oh yeah,
and something was written by George Harrison about his then wife or girlfriend or whatever, Patti Smith,
Patti Smith, yeah,
Patti Smith Boyd, I think she was then, but she also inspired two, in my
Layla,
opinion,
wasn't it?
of the
Yeah,
greatest loves, and Wonderful Tonight as well.
wow,
And Layla were both written about
yeah.
her. Like, there's not many women can say they've had three of the greatest love songs of all time, like written about them.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's
she must
amazing.
have something, literally
Yeah.
something. Yeah, she must
And
have
did
something.
Clapton play on something as well? Or he definitely played on one of the Beatles
While My
tracks.
Guitar
Maybe
Gently
that's
Weeps, he plays
okay.
on.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
he
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
co-wrote that.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
he co-wrote
yeah,
that
yeah.
one.
Nice,
Yeah, but
nice.
yeah, no, Layla obviously, yeah, and Wonderful Tonight as well. They're both inspired by her, as Patti.
That's
Uh,
incredible. Yeah,
Patti
yeah,
Smith, I think she's known as now. But yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Exactly.
And finally, Danny, track 6. I used to pick something that I always put on my compilations or mixtape, something a bit left field, a bit obscure, maybe a B-side or an album track, mate. What'd you go with?
Well, again, I just wanted to pick Gang of Youths because they're one of my favorite bands, not because they're Aussie band or anything. But
Yeah,
honestly, I'm obsessed. You can
yeah.
ask my girlfriend; she's here. I'm obsessed with Gang of Youths. But yeah, I've never gotten to see them live. Still, they were meant to play at a big festival here called Electric Picnic last year, and for
Mhm.
whatever reason, it didn't happen. So they're still on my bucket list of seeing live, and their
Mhm.
last two albums have really, really hit me hard. And the most recent one, this is the closing track on it. It's called Goal of the Century, and it's just a
Mhm.
beautiful piece of music. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's just goes on a journey. It's got strings. It's got African sort of, I don't know, Aboriginal
Mhm.
vocals and all sorts of different stuff on there, but it's just an incredible piece of music, and I love it. So that's what I picked for. It's not a single of theirs, or it's not a big
No.
release, but it's the closing track on their most recent album, and yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think I was going to ask you the top, and I've forgotten, but that's just reminding me of it now. I'm glad you picked them because what there's a bit of a trend, and it happens quite a lot. I think of bands when they're touring internationally, they'll drop in a cover version of a from a band in the country that they're in.
Yeah,
I remember seeing the Killers in Perth, and they did an INXS cover, which was amazing.
yeah.
Spring
And
Bruce
funnily
Spring.
enough, I just saw them in Electric Picnic, and they did a Waterboy song, and they got out Mike Scott
Oh, how good is
to
that
do
version?
Home of the Month. Yeah,
How
I do
good is
Home of
that
the Moon,
version?
and it was
Yeah,
just incredible. And seeing Mike Scott do it with them, it
yeah,
was just incredible. So the
yeah,
Killers are great for that, because it
yeah,
really is a
yeah,
memorable thing. It's a great
yeah,
idea. I must I must
yeah,
I
yeah.
must think about that now.
There's
Maybe we should
a
tag a huge cover.
a Bruce Springsteen version of Highway to Hell by AC/DC on YouTube. It is amazing. It's
No
so
way.
good. It's like the
No.
encore of his show. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was going to ask you, like, would you, if you were going to, drop one in your set on tour, like, I think that would suit, like, that Gang of Youths track would suit you, like, down to the ground, as a
I'd
cover
absolutely
version in the set.
Yeah, I'd absolutely consider it. I mean, this summer we did a Dolores. Well, we did a Sinead O'Connor song actually this year
Mm,
at Electric Picnic after she passed away, and we've done
mhm,
that in the past. There was another great Dublin legend called Chrissy Dignam who passed away this year, who's a singer in an Irish band called Aslan, and we did
mhm,
one of his songs as well. And we've done a Dolores O'Riordan song from the Cranberries.
mhm.
So yeah, but it's definitely worth thinking about. We should. You've put the idea in my head. The seed is in there now. Thank you, Mark.
Worries.
Yeah, that's definitely worth thinking about. Yeah, yeah. And
Something,
I
something
like
else.
I like to do something cool like that. You know, we're not going
Mm.
to go to Australia and do waltzing Matilda. Like, I want to do
Ah, yeah,
a
yeah,
cool
yeah,
Gang of
yeah.
Youth
Yeah, no,
song.
that'd be
That
a good
sounds
one. That'd be a good one for
yeah.
sure. Something else I should probably tip you off about Danny, just quickly before we go, do you know what a shoey is?
A shoey, no.
All right, so a shoey is when you remove your shoe, fill it with beer, and chug it.
Oh
Um,
wow, sounds good.
it's a very Australian tradition, and it happens a lot and stuff
I
like
should
that.
do it
So
on stage. That's a good idea. I'll do it on stage.
if you hear the crowd going shoey shoey, or it's normally like an encore sort of thing. Post Malone recently took a shoe from someone in the crowd and done a shoey out of their shoe, which is disgusting. Yeah, he did it as Post Malone, isn't it?
That's so
But
funny. It's
oh
so
no,
funny the way
yeah.
it's so much more disgusting if it's someone else's shoe. If it's your own
Oh
shoe and you're
yeah,
sweating
yeah,
all over it, it's fine. That
yeah.
doesn't matter. But if it's someone
Absolutely.
else's, it's horrible.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Danny, thanks so much for coming on the Mixtape, mate, and being so generous with your time. I think I was allocated 15 minutes. We've gone 35. I really
No worries at
appreciate
all,
that,
man.
mate. Thanks so much, buddy. All the
Thank
best.
you. And
And
listen, yeah, thank you. Enjoy the show tonight. And I
yeah, I
hope
will, mate. Yeah, yeah.
and listen, if you fancy coming to see us in Perth, you're more than welcome. Just give us a shout. Even though it's sold out, I'll squeeze you and your lovely girlfriend from Graysons in anytime.
Oh, cheers, Danny. Thanks so much,
that
mate. I
okay?
really appreciate it. That was perfect, mate. Lovely. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Listen, I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much, Mark.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and
it.
me too, mate. Yeah, thanks, buddy. All the best, mate. Take it
All
easy.
right.
See you later.
Talk to you later. Cheers.
Bye,
Bye,
mate. Bye. That was the Mixtape podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to jump up to the top of the page and smash that follow button, and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. Or follow me on Instagram at the Mixtape Perth. Till the next time.